What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for MLB Friday, June 6th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 12-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. I got a couple of stud pitchers that I like on this slate. I like Joe Musgrove pitching against a low-salary batting team, the Milwaukee Brewers. Joe Musgrove is only giving up a .568 OPS versus righties. He's facing 4 righties. On top of that, the Brewers have only hit 15 of his last 69 pitches. That's a .217 batting average. Joe Musgrove is $10,900 FanDuel salary, $300 less on DraftKings, averaging 42 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 40, 43, and 34 fantasy points in his last 3 games. He has an ERA of just 1.86. His record is 5-0, and he's pitching an average of 93 pitches per game. And Vegas thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game. 6.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Joe Musgrove here versus the Milwaukee Brewers. Now I also like Corbin Burnes pitching against a low-salary batting team, the San Diego Padres. Corbin Burnes, he pitches pretty well to all hands, but he does pitch his best ball versus righty batters, only giving up a .516 OPS versus righties. He's facing 5 righties here tonight, and the Padres have only hit 8 of his last 40 pitches. That's a .200 batting average. He's $10,500 FanDuel salary, $400 less on DraftKings, averaging 44 fantasy points per game on the season, and he has an ERA of only 1.95. Record is 3-2. Pitching an average of 99 pitches per game. And Vegas also thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game. Only 6.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Corbin Burnes here versus the San Diego Padres. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. I like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with a 23% batting advantage over a low-salary pitcher, Chichi Gonzalez. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is batting 8% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .934 OPS versus righties. Chichi Gonzalez pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .984 OPS versus righties. Now, there's no at-bats versus Gonzalez yet, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is $3,600 FanDuel salary, $700 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .253. So I like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. here versus Chichi Gonzalez. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $100 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won, and then we'll send you $100 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, if you want to save some salary at this position, take a look at Danny Jensen with a 50% batting advantage over that same low salary pitcher, Chichi Gonzalez. Danny Jensen is batting 35% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .965 OPS versus righties. We know Chichi Gonzalez is pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .984 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus Gonzalez yet. Danny Jansen is only 3,100 FanDuel salary, 1,400 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season, and he has a batting average of .283. So I like Danny Jansen here versus Chichi Gonzalez. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Owen Miller with a 13% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Bruce Zimmerman. Owen Miller batting 4% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .676 OPS versus lefties. Bruce Zimmerman pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .885 OPS versus righties. Now there's no at-bats versus Zimmerman yet, and Owen Miller is 3,200 FanDuel salary, only 400 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .273. So I like Owen Miller here versus Bruce Zimmerman. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. Now, although he is 0 for 6 here versus James Caprillion, I think he's in a good spot as a home run hitter. So I like Rafael Devers with a 35% batting advantage over that low salary pitcher, James Caprillion. Rafael Devers is batting 17% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .980 OPS versus righties. James Caprillion pitching 19% worse to lefties as he does righties, giving up a .820 OPS versus lefties. Now Devers is 0 for 6 versus Caprillion, but I like the splits here, and he's 4,000 FanDuel salary, 1,400 more on DraftKings, averaging 13 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .341. So I like Rafael Devers here versus James Caprillion. Okay, who do we have at the shortstop position? I like J.P. Crawford with a 28% batting advantage over Dane Dunning. J.P. Crawford batting 17% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .797 OPS versus righties. Dane Dunning pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, 11% worse than his pitch to righties, giving up a .831 OPS versus lefties. Now he is only 1 for 5 here versus Dunning, but the splits are good, and he's only 3,000 FanDuel salary. He's 1,100 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .297. So I like J.P. Crawford here versus Dane Dunning. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. You got Aaron Judge as a home run hitter, batting to his strong side versus righty pitchers. He's got a .993 OPS versus righty pitchers. And he's batting against a low salary pitcher, Elvin Rodriguez. Aaron Judge just been on fire this season, so always got to consider him, especially when he's facing righty pitchers and low salary righty pitchers. He scored 25, 10, and 22 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So I think Aaron Judge is in a good spot as a home run hitter here tonight. And then I like Yordan Alvarez. Despite the bad batter versus pitcher matchup, Yordan Alvarez has a 43% batting advantage over Brady Singer. Yordan Alvarez is batting 13% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .958 OPS versus righties. Brady Singer pitching his worst ball versus lefties, giving up a .834 OPS versus lefties. Now, Yordan Alvarez is 0 for 6 versus Singer, but the splits are good here, so I think he's due for a hit. He's $3,900 FanDuel salary, $1,100 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He's been on fire, scoring 23, 9, and 37 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He has a batting average of .272, so I like Yordan Alvarez here versus Brady Singer. I also like Hunter Dozier with a 21% batting advantage over a low-salary pitcher, Jose Urquidy. Hunter Dozier batting a little bit better versus righty pitchers, batting a .745 OPS versus righties. Jose Urquidy pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 18% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .815 OPS versus righties. Now, Hunter Dozier is $3,000 FanDuel salary, $800 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .280, so I like Hunter Dozier here versus Jose Urquidy. Now, I got a value play for you here. Take a look at David Peralta. He's got a 29% batting advantage here over JT Brubaker. David Peralta batting 30% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .828 OPS versus righties. JT Brubaker is pitching his best ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .699 OPS versus lefties. David Peralta is 1 for 2 versus Brubaker, but I like this pick because he's only $2,700 FanDuel salary, $900 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He's scored fantasy points in all of his last 5 games. He has a batting average of .247, so I like David Peralta as a value play here versus JT Brubaker. Now I got another value play for you here. Take a look at Abdul Herrera with a 28% batting advantage over a low-salary pitcher, Chase Silseth. Adubel Herrera is batting a .742 OPS versus righty pitchers. Chase Silseth is pitching 38% worse to lefties as he does righties, giving up a .915 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Silseth yet, but Adubel Herrera is only $2,200 FanDuel salary and only $400 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .274, so I like Odubel Herrera here versus Chase Silseth.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.